Hello, everybody. What is up? It is Blind Metal Gamer along with Kaira Super Saiyan here, and it's now time for a YouTube exclusive of the Blindside Podcast. We're here to discuss part two of Remasters and Remakes. Kyra, do you remember the original that we did?
I do. Lots of fun times. It's a fun times. Lots of good and bad games we talked about. Lots of wants, lots of I don't want this.
Yes, I remember. Finally, memories of that, and now it's time for part two. Since our original platform is not up to par, we're going to be using the StreamYard platform from here on for our podcasts, and
Yes.
these will be audio YouTube exclusive. So this is going to be a YouTube exclusive for you. Remasters and remakes.
Now, JP, I'm sorry, Tim.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing YouTube exclusive. This is going to be audio only. So no video. All right. So remasters and remakes part two. What was the latest remaster that you bought?
The
Kyra?
latest remaster that I bought was Super Mario 3D All Stars. The latest one that I played was Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, where I was one of the many unlucky who game overed on level 1.
Oh yes, I need to get that trilogy, or because I know you've been recommending it for a while. The Spyro trilogy as
Spyro
well.
Reignited, yes, that one too.
Yes, I'm just kind of waiting on. There's one that I'm waiting on in particular to come out. It's a new game. It's not a remaster or a remake, so it don't fit into this category. But two remasters that I bought recently, as a couple of weeks ago, when they got released, were Turok and Turok Two.
Yes, we've talked about Turok and Turok too. Not on this podcast, but we've talked about them.
Yes, we have, and I remember Turok in one and two very fondly because my brother and I would play them on the Nintendo 64. I don't think if memory serves me correctly, you did not own an N64 growing up. I believe you were a PlayStation girl.
PlayStation and primarily the original Xbox for the most part, along with a little bit of Game Boy Advance.
For me, for those of you on YouTube who have not listened to my podcast, and you've seen my streams of gameplay on YouTube, I'm not a handheld gamer. I'm a console gamer. My journey into gaming began with NES, SNES, Genesis, then the Nintendo 64. I passed on the original PlayStation, got a PS2, PS3, and now PS4, and going to get PS5 real soon. So, as for it relates to Turok and Turok 2, I remember playing them very vividly on the N64. I remember coming home from school and I would play them things just almost with the fervor of religion. My family had to literally threaten me with groundation just to get me away from the game.
Oh yeah, my mom used to be like that when I would spend too many hours playing The Sims on the computer. She'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna lock down that computer and take the keyboard away if you do not stop playing that game. She tried she tried the same tactic with my sister who was up all night on chat rooms on the
Mm-hmm.
computer, except my sister figured out the accessibility features on the computer, learned how to use it without a keyboard, and she's like, you know what, do whatever the hell you want, stay
Oh
up all
yeah.
night, but it's not on me if you forget to go to school. And my sister
Mm-hmm.
overslept one time, panicked, and she learned her lesson.
Mm-hmm. But now with school, see, my school thing was a little different because I went to a residential school, and
Yeah.
so gaming for me was more of a limited basis. So whenever I got the chance to play my favorite video games, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. So
Yep.
Turok and Turok 2 were the latest remasters I bought. Now, as for remasters I've been playing, I got back into Diablo 3 here recently. Because we got Diablo 2 remastered coming out very soon. And then also, I just heard about this TMNT Shredder's Revenge.
TMNT Shredder's Revenge, a love letter. It is. It has the potential to be the love letter to the 1987 TMNT series. For all of you for all you Ninja
Yes.
Turtle fans who love 87 series. And it is a
Yes.
glorious remastered 8-bit pixel art style that many of us know and love and grew up with. Me, I'm personally not much on 8-bit and 16-bit because the controls are fluid and slippery. I mean, fluid and slippery, but it is a great game to look at visually so far. And it in fact, another YouTuber, Andre Black Nerd,
Yes.
on his comedy channel, said it has potential to reboot the '87 series, but with but with that 2012 vibe.
That would
From
be epic. I mean, I remember.
that would be so fucking epic.
I know. I remember watching the that cartoon that you mentioned as a child growing up, and
I was a 2003 series girl, but 87 had its moments for me. I mean,
mm-hmm.
the first season was the best out of the entire
Oh
series.
yes. So I can't wait to see how that's gonna hang. Also about remasters and remakes. One game series I would love to see remastered, and they've not done this. Kind of shame on you, Square Enix, for ignoring this. I want to see a Legacy of Kain collection, and I would love to see a Legacy of Kain, either a collection or a remake of the whole series, like they did with Yakuza.
Yeah.
They remade Yakuza 1 through 5 for the PS4, which I hear Kiwami 2 is amazing.
For
Um,
my must list, give Silent Hill the treatment it deserves. The reimagining was great, but it was too much. A lot of people felt. Give Silent Hill the give give Silent Hill that treatment. I mean, if people thought Silent Hill was scary enough in 64-bit on the PlayStation 1, can you imagine how fucking terrifying it would be?
oh god, it'll be terrifying as all fuck. Oh my
And
god.
in high definition, in
Yeah,
4K
yeah.
graphics.
Yeah, and then they can do jump scares and all this sorts of shit. I can't wait. I mean, oh, this might actually get you excited, Kyra. I heard a rumor that Blooper Team is going to be doing a reboot of Silent Hill for current gen consoles, PS5 and Xbox Series X.
That would actually be fantastic because a lot of people have been requesting that, specifically for the original trilogy in the Silent Hill franchise.
Oh, I know. And I would love to see that, and I would love to see Metal Gear Solid be remade. Oh god, if they do that, I'm buying it day one.
Metal Gear Solid, yes, that's another on the must list.
And
Wolfenstein,
I'm not talking about the Metal Gear from 1987. I'm talking about the 1998 classic, not the 2002 GameCube remake. Remake the 1998 classic with modern graphics from the
yeah,
ground up for PS5, Xbox Series X, you know,
and
and PS4 and Xbox One, because not everybody's going to have a PS5 yet. So do it.
for all you Wolfenstein players,
Mm-hmm.
there has been talk. It's just talk though. I can't even nail down a source for these rumors if I could. That they are
Mm-hmm.
talking about possibly redoing the MS DOS port of Wolfenstein 3D and bringing it to all consoles and PC.
If they
Wolfenstein 3D.
That game rocked. I remember
I
playing that on
remember
PS3.
I remember my dad playing it on Windows Millennium Edition. Oh God, yeah, Windows Millennium Edition.
Oh,
Worst
that sucked.
that worst operating system ever. But anyway,
Yeah, back to the game. Yeah, I remember that game very vividly. I remember it caused a lot of controversy in Germany. They had to remove all references of the swastika
and
and
the
all,
Nazis because
and
of
then
it.
yes, they
Yeah,
had to remove all of that.
yeah.
So they did that, and I played it on the PS3 back in like 2009, 2010.
See, for me, I saw my dad play it
Mm-hmm.
multiple times. I never saw him beat the game, but he told me
Mm-hmm.
he beat it, so I believe him. But I would see him go against the final boss and lose so many times. But like
Oh,
the
Robo Hitler. Oh yeah.
but the graphics for an MS DOS port, I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Oh, I know. I
Did
mean,
not look like they were made for Microsoft. For those of y'all who don't know what Microsoft DOS is, that is the last edition of Windows. That is the first version of Windows before Windows was a thing. In fact,
yes.
Microsoft DOS was discontinued in 1991, I believe it was, maybe 92. And
And then Windows came over, took it over.
and,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just like Windows 1. It was like it started out with Windows 3. That was how it started.
Yeah,
So
and then it advanced. But yeah, back to the game. Yeah, I remember playing it on PS3, and when I got a hold of it, it came with all episodes, all of that. So you got all the content, which was awesome.
yeah,
Which I
Wolfenstein
loved that.
3D. If you I guarantee you it is probably ported somewhere online. So check that fucking game out. It is incredible. Especially if you are a fan of the franchise. You guys are going to be wanting a remake as badly as Blind Metal Gamer and I here, because it is one hell of a game.
Oh yeah, they've already done the reboot treatment with Doom, and they got the rebooted Wolfenstein out. But if they make the original, oh, oh man.
Speaking
One
of,
other game that I don't know if they would do this or not for a remaster, because it's I don't know how this would work out in 2021. Uh, there was a game called Overblood. Do you remember that game?
no, you gotta see. Here's the thing: if he says, "Do you remember this game?" chances are it'll be no, because there is a 10-year age difference between the two of us.
Yes, there was blood. No, it wasn't Overblood. It was either Overblood or just Blood. I think it was Overblood or Blood, one of the two. But it was a first-person Doom type game, but you were killing vampires
Oh,
and monsters and whatnot. If they were, I think it was Blood, just Blood or Overblood. Either Blood or Overblood. Maybe y'all in the comment section will know. Whatever that is, they need to remake that in today's. Oh my god, that would be amazing.
I would love to see them. I don't know if it'll happen because of the pandemic, but I would love to see any pandemic based game just remastered in the 20th century to teach people this is how bad COVID could have been if
Oh yeah.
if we hadn't gotten it under control when we did. But that's probably censorship will probably make that extremely unlikely. But
Yeah, I doubt it.
to talk about anniversaries, because Zelda's 35th come next month.
Yes, it does.
And there are rumors that, unlike Super Mario 3D All Stars, which we will talk about in a second, because
oh yeah.
This girl's going to rant and rave about 3D All Stars for a minute in a second. That they are going to be taking at least 3 Legend of Zelda games, and I say at least, and remastering them, and then releasing more remastered Zelda games. This includes Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild. I mean, the potential is just unlimited. And they're talking about porting them onto the Switch eShop as to debut virtual consoles, which would be fantastic. There's no
that would be that they need to get on Switch. There needs to be a virtual console on Switch.
Well, there are virtual consoles on Switch, just not for N64 and GameCube.
Well, they need to get them on there because I do have some memories of the GameCube, but they're like more of compilations.
Yeah.
Not for this, but as for Zelda remake, I've got some fond memories of Zelda. Me and my late father would play that game. Whenever I would get a new game in the series, I would always go over to his house on every like other weekend or something like that, and we would just play Zelda from sun up to sundown.
You are making me remember playing Crash Team Racing with my dad and my sister on a PlayStation demo disc on weekends with my dad, and then eventually, the actual Crash Team Racing game, when we finally got a copy of it. This was well after the PS1 had had exited center stage,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So of course, now that I have my hands on CTR Nitro Fuel, I'm going to get a second controller for my Switch. And I plan on seeing if my dad wants to play CTR Nitro Fueled, which is one of the best remasters I've ever seen. I should add, with me on my
Nice.
Switch, because CTR Nitro Fueled, it is a love letter to CTR, and it is the microtransactions suck, man. They suck. But
Yeah, they do.
it is a love letter to CTR. The only thing they could have made better, pop in the freaking adventure mode for Nitro Cards, which is essentially
Story mode.
the no, it's essentially the clone, the wannabe of CTR. They put
Mm-hmm.
the Nitro Kart tracks in, and they put the bosses in as playable characters, which we never got in Nitro Kart.
Oh wow.
Huge, but they could have given us story mode. I mean, hell, they overhauled the mechanics on the Nitro Kart tracks. I'm guessing Beanox wanted to do it, but they were too focused on Crash 4 to do it.
Yeah, actually, Crash 4 was developed by Toys for Bob.
Oh yeah. Well, Beanox was working on inverted mode though
Ah,
for Crash
gotcha,
4. So
gotcha.
Beanox wouldn't have had the time to do it anyway because see, Toys for Bob was the other developer for Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled anyway. So
Oh, okay, so they work together. Gotcha.
so Beanox and Toys for Bob would have been too busy working on Crash 4 to port in a second adventure mode, which is a fucking shame, man, because that game had so much potential. They overrode the anti-gravity mechanics in favor of
Oh, no, 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 no. But yeah, as for remasters and remakes, let's see. We've talked about Crash, Spyro. One thing I discussed Legacy of Kain. I want a Legacy of Kain remake. Um, do you remember GoldenEye?
no.
Okay, I heard a rumor they were going to remaster that on the Xbox 360 way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
What they need to do is get that, and I know that because I know IO Interactive is working on a new Bond game,
Yeah.
which I cannot wait for. Um, I know, and this would suck for all the PlayStation gamers out there because it would be an Xbox exclusive
Mm-hmm.
if they did this because Rare owns is owned by Microsoft. But if they could get Rare to do that remaster on the Xbox One and Series X, or
Yeah.
maybe get Night Dive someone like that, to remaster it and then port it to all the consoles like they did with Turok. Oh god, I would get that. The N64 game, not that crappy GoldenEye 007 Reloaded. That game was good, but it was too Call of Duty esque in my
Yeah.
eyes. Get the good old N64 game, remaster it, port it to all consoles, then we'll be good to go. And then another game in the Turok series, I think they should remaster. Night Dive, if you're listening, please listen to me. Turok 3 and then Turok Rage Wars. Turok Rage Wars would make for an epic, and I mean an epic, online multiplayer focused game.
Now, on that note, it's not a remaster I'm wanting per se. It's more of a reboot. I
Mm-hmm.
want them to remaster and reboot at the same time Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex. That game had so much potential. And because it was the first platformer not to be developed by Naughty Dog in the series,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Universal Interactive screwed that game up big time.
Oh yeah. Let Toys for Bob get a hold of it, remaster it, do it the right
Oh
way.
hell yeah! Toys for Bob and Beanox could create something beautiful out of it. I mean, they could fix everything broken about it and reboot it. I mean, I've never heard of a hybrid of a reboot and a remaster before, but it can be done, and I think Toys for Bob has proven themselves worthy of it.
Yes, they have. And they might do a Spyro 4 if a Reunited
Yes,
Trilogy
that is
goes
a
well.
huge rumor right now. Oh man, Spyro Reignited. I never got to play the first Spyro game in the series in the original trilogy growing up. So playing Spyro Reignited introduced me to the first Spyro game, and I fell in love. Um, that turned out fantastic. I'm still terrible at Spyro, but I'm better at Spyro than I am at Crash. Which is good because And here's the other thing: I'm familiar with how the mechanics work because I started out with Spyro 3 and Spyro 2 on the demo disc. You're sensing a pattern here. Demo
Uh,
disc.
oh yes, 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 yes. The good old demo. I remember those. I loved those.
Yeah, I remember my dad
They
playing.
loved
I remember one of the wildest demo disc games I ever played was Ape Escape.
Yes, I remember that.
Ape Escape had a a horrendously bad remaster too. Oh, James.
Yeah, it did. They could do a lot with that too. Do you remember a game called? Yeah, do you remember an old game, or no, not an old game, but the 2008 Turok remake reboot that they did?
No, I don't.
If anybody out there that has played that game, you will probably relate. It sucks. It's not worth it. They shouldn't have even done it. I know they were trying to get Turok into a modern audience, but it just flopped. One game series, and all you fighting game fans will probably rejoice over this. I've heard a rumor that they were wanting to remaster all the Mortal Kombat's and put them all on one disc. If they were to do this, here's how I think they should do it: 1 through 9, including DC Universe. I know that's going to be blasphemy because DC Universe is the black sheep. MK versus DC Universe, but remaster them all on one disc. Maybe a separate disc for DCU and 9. Give them all updated online multiplayer, 60 frames a second, and maybe even put in some cut content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put in like for all the old Mortal Kombat's, they couldn't get it in there, but they could put it in there now. For MK1, there's only like 7 characters. If they wanted to put more characters in, put them in.
Yeah.
But I heard a rumor that Blue Squirrel I think it's Flying Squirrel Games, were working on a remake of the MK1, 2, and 3,
That
and
was good.
they were working on it, and it was like in production, but they never released it. It never got released. Like there was a build of maybe with Sub Zero and Scorpion. Oh my God! I saw it was Dynasty Brothers. Shout out to you, Dynasty, if you're listening to this, for showing us that MK1 remake on your channel. Oh God! If they were to if NetherRealm Studios were to get that and polish that and do it the right way, oh, I'd buy that in an instant. That whole collection. Then another, as far as remakes go, I would love to see. I've talked about Legacy of Kain. Do you remember an old game called Vagrant Story?
No.
Don't remember that. We got the Final Fantasy VII remake, which is awesome. Final Fantasy VIII got a remaster on the PS4 and Xbox One as well. Do you remember Final Fantasy VIII?
I've never played the Final Fantasy games, but I've heard a little bit about Final Fantasy VIII.
I played 7, 8, and a little bit of 9 on the PS4. I played 7 on the PS1, 8 on the PS1. It was on the PS2 because I owned the PS2 when I got them. 9, I didn't get to play 9 until I got it on PS4. If they were to remake 8, I would love that. In the same style as 7, that would be so amazing.
Yeah.
And then Vagrant Story as well, because Vagrant Story had a cool combat system.
Yeah.
But I think that that game deserves a remake. It's almost forgotten. Then let's see, as far as remasters. Games I would want to see remastered in 2021, like I've mentioned before, Knights, Truck 3 and Trucker Edge Wars. Now, didn't you say you had something you wanted to say regarding Super Mario 3D All Stars? Because I have something to say on that too.
Super Mario 3D All Stars. Oh my God, where do I even start? that
Mm-hmm.
is a remake that had so much potential. It does. I know it's technically a remaster, but it does not deserve the title of remaster because they didn't do anything to remaster it.
No, they didn't. They didn't do anything for it. All they did was we're gonna slap these on the Switch, and there you go. Like, and
That's
I was.
that's literally it. Like
Mm-hmm.
they could have at least given us like Odyssey and Bowser's Fury level full graphics for the Switch.
Oh
But no,
yeah. No, no,
they
no. They
didn't.
lazily ported it over. Like I know they did that with the Mega Man Legacy Collection. They did that with the all the like the older games. They just ported them onto the modern consoles. And
Yep.
I get why they did that as far as like simplicity, and that shows in the pricing. But what they forgot Mega Man Powered Up. I mean, on the PSP.
Yeah, and
Mm.
but here's the thing. We're getting to the point where remasters and remakes, at least in Nintendo's eyes, are being pushed aside in favor for new games. Like there are 3 new Pokemon games coming out next year. The
Mm-hmm.
Diamond and Pearl remasters, which
Mm-hmm.
are not being done by Game Freak for the first time ever. They're being done in chibi style, and to be honest, the graphics are subpar to say the least. They
Oh
look
wow.
they look like they were the graphics look like they belong back on the Nintendo DS. Except the Nintendo DS Pokemon games have better graphics than this chibi style that the Diamond and Pearl remakes are giving us. Meanwhile, though, Game Freak is working on Pokemon Legends Arceus,
Mm-hmm.
which looks like which is essentially Diamond and Pearl back in ancient Japan times, and it looks fantastic. Like it's literally Pokemon in ancient Japan, and it looks incredible.
Now, speaking of ancient Japan, one remake I would want to see, and you just made me think about this. Uh, Onimusha Warlords. They did a remaster of the first game, and they didn't do the second or third one, or Onimusha Dawn of Dreams.
Hmm.
They should Capcom, if you're listening, please remaster 2, 3, and 4 in the Onimusha series. Then give us an all new Onimusha in the modern style of graphics, modern style of gameplay. I mean, come on. I could see Samsuke just chopping demons in half, and really just going to town on these demons, all the new abilities you could have with a modern Onimusha remake. We've got remakes of Resident Evil 2 and 3, which I liked, but I kind of set them aside for another reason, which we'll get
Yeah.
into in our next podcast, which will be at a later time. I was going to do it this month, and I'll go on and kind of give everybody a heads up. It was the Gaming and Accessibility podcast episode we were going to do.
Unfortunately, though, it kind of hit a wall because we're still waiting on word from one of our guest speakers. So
Yes.
we cannot collaborate on that podcast until we get word from him. But
Yes, I want to get
it
him in this.
is a game developer. We're not going to say who,
Right,
but
it's a surprise. It's a
it
complete
is a game
surprise.
developer,
It's a
and that's all we're
surprise.
going to tell you.
Yeah, it's a surprise. But yeah, real quick before we kind of wrap up and close out here. In the comment section, is there any remasters or remakes you would want to see on current gen or next gen consoles? That being PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X, or Switch. Um, so, Kyra, real quick, is there any other type of thing you would like to ask for the audience? That might be listening
Let's
once this
ask
is uploaded.
let's also ask them to post in the comments what is one of their favorite remasters or remakes, or one of their least favorite remasters or remakes.
Yes, yes, everybody in the comments, what's your least favorite remaster or remake? We got to
Or
get those in
least
there too.
favorite. It doesn't have to be your least favorite.
Right, it could be your favorite or
least
least
favorite.
favorite. So we can do it that way
Yeah.
too. Yes.
Um,
So,
Go ahead.
okay, so with that being said, I want to thank Kyra for joining me tonight here on this first ever edition of the Blindside Podcast on YouTube. This is a first for the show, and I may continue doing it like this
Yeah.
if it goes over.
As for me, I collaborate with I collaborate with Blind Metal Gamer about once a month. So you'll see me around, or in this case, hear me around because this is a podcast.
Right.
Don't worry, you guys will get to listen to me again.
Oh yes. The next time she and I collaborate will be for gaming and accessibility. We just got to talk to one of our speakers and get them in. I might even try and get some other people in on the action as well if I can. Um, you know, so that's going to be so we can have a good little discussion on that. So with that being said, thank you, Kyra, for joining me tonight here on YouTube. And as always, be sure to subscribe, give this podcast video a like, leave a comment down below, and share with everyone you know. Until next time, I've been your host, Blind Metal Gamer, saying so long, everyone, and peace.